Welcome to your 20-minute podcast with David Brower, brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/your20-minute podcast. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Now, here's your host, David Brower.
Thanks, Allan. Here's part 2 of my interview with Joshua Shea. Like you said, whether it's food or baseball cards or, trying to beat the kid around the corner on your trike, it seems like everybody has some level of an addiction, and it can catch you off guard and get amplified and just throw your life all over.
You're absolutely right. And what people need to keep remembering is that while addiction is the problem, it's not the big problem. Addiction is a symptom of something else going on. Over 90% of alcohol or drug addicts have some kind of trauma in their youth.
Okay.
And that's not to say everybody does who becomes addicted, but usually addicting is a coping mechanism for something else that's happening. When you're trying to keep up with the Joneses across the street, what is it? Why do you need to? Why are you addicted to always one-upping them?
Yeah.
There's something going on there. What was going on with me when I needed to drink? What was going on with me when I needed to get lost on the internet and pornography? That was the real key to overcoming these issues, was understanding the issues behind them.
Wow.
It's not hard to stop drinking. It's not hard to stop looking at pornography on a physical level. On a mental level, complete addiction, and you've got to figure out what's going on there if you're ever going to have a shot at beating it.
So how did you figure that out? Was it through these intervention things or counseling or?
Well, it was going off to alcohol rehab in California. I went to Palm Springs, and I thought that I would be there for 4 weeks, like I've seen in the movies, and I didn't think I had a problem. And I was gonna, fake it till I make it.
Right.
Get my certificate to show the judge that I was doing good.
Right.
And I kind of had this little tough guy swagger for 5 or 6 days. And then I started to really listen and say, oh my God, they're absolutely describing me.
Wow.
And I had to come to terms with the fact I was an alcoholic. And then it's a matter of, well, how did I become an alcoholic? Why did I become an alcoholic? And thankfully, there I was out in the desert with nothing else to do but figure that out. And once, rehab is really an amazing thing. They break you down and then build you up. And that breaking down process is sad and angering and stressful and just not fun, but so crucially important to figure out what's going on.
Sounds like Marine Corps boot camp.
Exactly. That's exactly it. It's a reprogramming of your mind.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do, because clearly your mind is going down the wrong path. It was pretty much the exact same thing with my sex and porn addiction rehab in Texas. They have to break you down for you to really understand why you got to that point. And then once you realize why, it's time to start filling the tool chest with ways to, integrate back into society and not need these coping mechanisms and these crutches to function.
So you turn the addictions and the crutches and the frustration and the solitude and all of those things into ways to find tools for your tool chest and continue to try to stay as positive as you possibly can on any given day to expand your tool chest, I would think.
Right, and even more important, you figure out what tools you need on the days that you get negative.
Oh yeah,
because those are the tough ones.
Yeah.
For myself, I wrote the first draft of my book when I was in jail, because that was my way of coping with jail and sitting down. Despite all of the rehab I did, despite all of the therapy with professionals, sitting down and writing my book was one of the most therapeutic things I've ever done, because there I have to commit what happened to paper. And in trying to be the most honest version that I possibly can, that was huge in building my tool chest.
Well, that makes it real, doesn't it?
That's exactly true. And, we are the stories we tell ourselves,
Right.
but try writing those stories down and try to make them truthful. It's writing the book was a tough process. In some ways, thank God I had all day to do it. The final book here is about 90,000 words. My first draft was written into almost 5 composition notebooks with those pencils that you use for scoring golf.
Oh my God.
Because that's all we were allowed. I went through about 80 of those pencils.
Sure.
And that was about 200,000 words. One of the most useful things in my recovery was sitting down and whittling this, giant memoir that I wrote in pencil and typing it into a computer and, killing off 55% of it.
Yeah. That
really forced me to look at, okay, what are the anecdotes that don't matter? What are the details that don't matter? Where are my resentments?
Right.
What is important? What do I need to let other people know? So hopefully I can do some help. And really editing my story was such a huge tool in my recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's, wow. I'm getting goosebumps talking to you, man, because it's such a great story from tragedy to liberty and being able to pay this forward and help people that you may not ever know about, may not ever meet, but to be able to throw your book out there. Do you do public speaking too?
I do, and I'm hoping to move in that direction.
Okay.
I think that, I'm never going to be a therapist. I'm never going to be a research scientist.
Right.
But, with my political background, with my working in communications, I don't have any trouble standing up in front of a crowd and speaking about things. And really, with the crime that I committed, it was the top news story in Maine for several days. And anytime I made a court appearance, it popped back up in the media. So I'm in a rare position where most guys who get in trouble with this still try to hide it.
Right.
And, don't want to talk about it. Well, my skeletons are out of my closet. So I'm in a rare position. I can talk about this. So what I hope to do moving forward is to be able to talk to more people and just let them know that there is no stereotypical porn addict. We're not just a bunch of perverts who are 20 years old living in our mom's basement who've never kissed a girl in real life.
Right.
We are doctors and teachers and lawyers and homeless people and anybody you can imagine, because there is no stereotypical porn addict. And the other thing I want to do is talk to that 1 in 3 guy who they'll never admit they're one of those 3.
Right.
But just let them know that, hey, you're not alone. It's amazing how many people actually have this problem. Nobody wants to talk about it, but you can do something about it.
Well, and the other thing I think when you get more into the public speaking mode, the other thing that's going to be totally appealing to draw people to you is it's genuine. It's an authentic story. It's not, it's not a therapist trying to sell a book. It's not a researcher trying to get more information. This is your frickin' life, man. And to be able to share that candidly with people is going to touch life after life after life, I think.
Well, and my hope is that, when the score is tallied at the end, that I'm able to claim that I helped more people and created better situations than the victims I created. And, the victims are not just that girl who was on the computer.
Right.
It's my wife and my kids,
right.
and my family and my community.
Right.
And if in the end there are more people who are, for lack of better term, saved, then maybe this was all for a net good.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a bigger power at work that wanted to bring me to this point. And I just feel like I've got to share this story now and try to make the world a better place, because I was all about taking in the past.
Right.
Now I'm going to try to be a bit more about giving.
Well, I'm so proud of you, man. It's I can't even remotely imagine the journey, but to see where you are now, how you're reaching out to people, touching lives, it's like I said, it gives me goosebumps, and I'll do what I can in my little world to publicize and promote you, because it is the addiction nobody will talk about.
Yeah, I appreciate that so much. And for people who wonder how I'm doing now, the book largely ends right at my jail sentence. I do have a website. It's recoveringpornaddict.com. I update with articles. There's a little bit more self-help, a little bit more on statistics there. That is kind of where I'm headed if people are interested in that.
Outstanding. That was my next question. Yeah.
Yeah, you do need to learn about this, and you do need to, see the science and see the math. But also I like to share my stories, and I like to talk to people who are in, various stages of their addiction. I was counseling a person this morning from the UK who's 12 days into not looking at porn and having a heck of a lot of trouble making it to day 13. And
sure,
yeah, I'm not putting out a magazine for 30, 40, 50,000 people. I'm helping one guy, but there's something a little bit more fulfilling in knowing that I'm helping that one guy with something actually important.
No question. Well, congratulations on your journey, man.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate you giving me time today, because it's not a joke. Naming the book the addiction nobody will talk about.
No,
there
absolutely.
are a lot of people who are scared to talk about this topic for a variety of reasons, and I just want to thank you for giving me a platform where I can reach people.
And if people are listening out there, if you are one in three, take a few minutes away from your addiction and check out Josh's website and try to nudge your toe towards that good place, and he'll be there for you. I can tell.
Absolutely. And for those wondering, the book is all in your typical spots. Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's not hard to find it. If you go to my website, there are links right there. So.
And the website, one more time, is?
The website is recoveringpornaddict.com.
Outstanding. Our guest has been Joshua Shea from Maine. Continued success, my friend, and continued successes for people that you touch.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Your 20-minute podcast with David Brower has been brought to you by Audible. You can listen to any of David's podcasts anywhere podcasts can be found, including iHeartRadio, the Spotify mobile app, and at davidbrowervo.com/your20-minute podcast. Until next time, thanks for listening.